So, everybody, prepare your teapots because we are moving to United Kingdom actually. So, we carry on speaking with standard British accents. So, here is our friend Vijay. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you, Sergey? Everything good?
Cool, cool.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes. We have a
yeah.
very
It's
lovely conference.
yes. It's 4 degrees here, and I stayed just near Stansted Airport, not very far from it. It's about 10 minutes from Stansted Airport, a place called Bishop Stortford. So that's where I am. It's in East Hertfordshire, so it's pretty good. But yeah, it's 8 o'clock at the moment, and let me just start this particular presentation.
Okay.
Um, what I want to first and foremost say is please don't get overwhelmed. This particular presentation is completely different. I'm not going to talk much about LinkedIn. Maybe 1% is going to be LinkedIn. But what I can promise is for all of you here, all the participants, you will definitely get some value out of this because I'll be talking a lot about the mindset and the impact model itself, which I think everybody can use. So even if you're a solopreneur, if you're a founder, or if you're a CEO of a larger organization, you will find value in what I'm going to talk to you about. But here's the thing. So my name's Vijay Mistri, and what I do is I actually help leadership teams unlock 40 to 60% of capability which they leave on the table. And I've coached and consulted over 100 CEOs, directors, executives, as well as conducted workshops and masterclasses live. This is in person to over 1,000 directors, executives from large organizations like Coca-Cola, Ipsos, Big Four, and all sorts of different sectors. And here's one thing that I've realized that there's a common pattern. It's not the it's basically not the strategy which is failing, or it is not the talent that you don't have, but it is actually the leadership operating system. I know this may sound a bit different for everybody, but here's the thing, stay with me because I know all of you here are going to scale up. I know we are in 2026. I think in the next 1 or 2 years, I'll see all of you having multi-million dollar companies, and some of you might already have. So just stay with me because, as Louis Pasteur says, that chance favors the prepared mind. So let me just move into this particular presentation. I want to start with the LinkedIn leadership paradox. Like I said, I'll speak only 1% about LinkedIn, but we've heard today some fantastic speakers talk about building credibility, creating trust through content, generating inbound leads on autopilot. There are lots of different insights that we have picked up. And I think I personally, Sergey, to be honest, I made so many notes and learned quite a lot as well, which is really good. But here's my question to you. You're building authority online and you're scaling your revenue as well. But is your leadership system keeping up? That is very important. Impact will come when you have a seamless system in place. And here's the question. Is your leadership team ready to scale? So you need to be very careful if your leadership team is ready to scale. Some of you might, like I said, would be solopreneurs. You might not have employees, but this is an important insight for you to have as you scale up, as you grow your business. So here's the growth paradox itself. Now, your revenue will exist and inbound is flowing with all the fantastic speakers. I'm sure you've got a lot of insights on how to really grow your revenue. And you might be having a clear roadmap as well as strategy in place. Yet decisions, there's a chokehold. It takes more time, and you are the bottleneck as a founder or CEO. You're holding back on the decisions itself, and execution itself keeps stalling. So the execution, the implementation, really it's more like unmet expectations. And look, any business that you have, my dear friends, any business that you have, disruption is happening at a faster pace than ever before. And I think we can all vouch for it with what we are seeing every single day. I see something new coming up, Claude coming up with something, or all these AI initiatives which are coming out. So there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of disruption taking place, and that is what is causing these bottlenecks, because there's this decision paralysis. The choice to make the choice, it's taking more time in businesses, and this means that you're slipping in your competitive advantage. There's another thing, which is the founder bottleneck, and 80% of decisions need your sign off, which means the business cannot run without the founder. The third is financial blindness. And by the way, I'll be sharing these questions with you, that leaders can't answer these five core profit questions. And they are so important that you need to really embed in your DNA, as I would put it. Execution decay. And this really delays everything, it dies in implementation. And finally, siloed leadership, where teams are working in isolation rather than cohesively, rather than synergistically. So these are the five friction points. And what I want to do is, I want to introduce this particular model, is the impact model. And like I said, I've got a 10 out of 10 feedback on this particular model from large organizations, multinationals, construction companies, you name it, founders as well, marketing personnel. So this is something you can use as to simplify the whole pipeline of your activities. So let me just go through it. The first, the impact, the acronym itself. So I stands for intention. M stands for mindset. And by the way, I'll be speaking more on the mindset, so you get some insights on the mindset element which you can apply in your particular business and your life journey as well. And then we'll talk about the people, because intention, mindset, people is very important. Accountability, cost leadership, and finally, traction. So this is the model itself. This is the impact model itself. Intention, mindset, people, accountability, cost leadership, and traction. What I want to do is I want to walk you through this particular model so you get the real gist of what this particular model is and how it can really make an impact and help you moving forward. So the first is intention. Again, where are you really going? You need to be very clear. And here's the thing, LinkedIn is going to build your authority, but intention directs it. So you could be having 10,000 followers or 50,000 followers, which is a good thing, but do you have the right intention? Because that is going to course correct and align with where you want to get to. So that's the key component. And is your board, and when I'm talking about board, it could be like, are you really in that particular same direction? Are you really aligned to that particular direction? Secondly, can you, every leader articulate the one thing that must be true in 90 days? Specificity, my dear friends, is very, very important. So you need to be very specific about that one thing that is your true north, 90 days. So you need your milestones in place. And the other thing is, are all the decisions filtered through this lens? What that means is, are you connecting the dots with where you want to go to, the macro level, and what you are doing at the moment, ground level itself? So you need to connect the dots as you move forward. And here's the thing, and this is a suggestion I can give you. Anybody here can do this, is have a single one-page blueprint. We are bombarded with so much information that it's very difficult for us to really comprehend so much information. But if you have a one page with some specifics as to where you want to, what are your goals and what you really want to achieve, that, my dear friends, is going to drive more momentum. It's going to create more velocity as well as you move forward. Now, let me move to the mindset piece. And here's where I want to spend a little bit more time, if you may, because this is very important. Everybody must understand this particular element. Each and every one of us, my dear friends, we have approximately, according to research, 60,000 thoughts every single day. And 90 to 95% of our thoughts spill over the next day. So whatever you're thinking today, 90 to 95% spills over the next day. My question to all of you is, what's the thought process you have? What sort of thoughts are coming through your mind? Are they positive? Are they negative? Are they challenging? What is it? Is it full of concern? So you need to really establish, and I'll give you some more details on this. Now, here's an analogy which I want to share with you, which I think is very powerful. Think of a koi fish. Now, if you take koi fish and put it in a fish bowl, it's going to grow 2 inches. So you take a koi fish, put it in a fish bowl, and it's in a fish bowl all the time. It's just going to grow 2 inches. Take that same koi fish, put it in a river, and it's going to grow 12 inches. The same koi fish, the 2-inch koi fish, is going to grow 12 inches when it's been put in a river. Why is that so? The reason is the danger, the environment, everything has changed. And the koi fish, in the fish bowl, it had that comfort. But when you put it in a river, it has those dangers of the big fish, attacking and eating it. So that is very important. So you need to see what sort of a mentality you have. And here's the thing. For the timid, change is frightening. For the timid, change is frightening. For the comfortable, change is threatening. For the comfortable, change is threatening. But for the confidence, change, my dear friends, is opportunity. So if you are confident, that is when you will see the opportunity. And this is why I relate it back to the 60,000 thoughts. So how can you be confident? Is from getting competence. Besides the mindset, which is an important piece, you need to have the competence. And competence comes from skills, experience, and knowledge. So knowledge, skills, and experience. That's how you get your competence. So that is where the traction is. That is where you're going to get an impact. So think about that capability. And I challenge each and every one of you that if you had to unlock another 10, 15% in the next 5 days or 2 weeks, what is it that you would do? How would you unlock your capability? You need to evolve. As the world changes, you need to change. Let me move forward. 80-20. 80% is mindset, 20% is skill sets. That's what I believe. Because 80% of whatever you do is going to be everything to do with the mindset itself. And 20% is skills. Now, here's the thing. Why am I talking about this mindset element? Because the future with AI is going to change everything. And the future is going to be for those who are more creative, who are more innovative, and who can design. So creativity is doing things differently. Innovation is doing things better. So that is the distinction that you need to have. And design is what really works. It's that particular design that you have. So the 80-20 is very important. Another thing is 80% concentrate and focus on solutions. This is something that I can just share with you, that put 80% of your effort and focus on solutions, and 20% look into the root cause, identify the root cause. So you are more proactive. This brings me to the point of 5 human barriers. Now, you and I, we have 5 barriers, and I'm talking about Zen lessons, but it's very important that I bring this up. So let me share these 5 human barriers, which are so important. The first barrier is sensual desire. So what do I mean by sensual desire? Sensual desire means that you got a goal, you got a mission, you got a purpose, but then you're tempted because of some shiny object or something might have happened. Let me give you an example. There was this manufacturing company. The CEO bought a software, a really powerful software for the company. And he had about 40, 45 employees. and he bought this particular software. And what happened is he got so engrossed in the software itself that he lost track of the purpose, the objective, the mission of the organization itself. And that in itself creates a barrier. The second barrier is aversion. So, what do I mean by aversion? Now, this is something that you don't like doing, but you have to do in order to progress. So, let me give you an example here. Maybe some of you don't like filing your tax returns, or filing tax returns, um, and you might be having an accountant or some auditor who might be handling the accounting, filing of the returns and everything. But here's the thing: you have to sign off those final filing of the returns, which means you need to understand everything that's in your particular return before you sign it off, because you will be held accountable for it. So that is the aversion bit. The third human barrier, which is very important, is this heaviness and dullness. So I don't know if you have felt it, I've felt it. There are times when, you wake up in the morning and your energy level is low. And there are times when you procrastinate, you delay something, you'll say, I'll do this later. So you just keep on procrastinating. So that is another challenge. And you feel demotivated as well at certain points. We are all humans. The fourth barrier, my dear friends, is restlessness. This is like a monkey jumping from one branch to another. So it's like, you're always distracted, constantly distracted, rather than being immersed. So you're checking your phone every now and again, or you're getting this distraction, or you can't really focus on one particular thing. That is restlessness itself. And the final one, my dear friends, the final fifth human barrier is self doubt. When does self-doubt build in? It's when you have this fear in you. And when do you have this fear? It's when you might have made certain choices where you might have burnt your fingers. I mean, I've burnt my fingers. I'm sure if I had a show of hands, I'm sure many of you might have had some similar issues. And that would restrict you from making certain decisions. So that self-doubt creeps in. So these are the five human barriers which you need to basically realize. If you have that realization, you'll be able to transform. And if you are able to transform, you'll be able to course correct and align accordingly. That is my intention here. And again, you have to decide, do you have a scarcity mentality or an abundance mentality? With an abundance mentality, you're going to see opportunities. That is what people see. But with a scarcity, you're always concerned about what if this is going to happen, or what is that is going to happen. So you have to have that particular mentality where you see the opportunity. Are you going to be reactive or proactive? If something happens, are you going to react to it, or are you going to be proactive? Are you a victim? Are you taking ownership? So sometimes you have to own it, and you have to express your vulnerability. Yes, I made this mistake. So this is the thing. When you have that ownership, that's going to change everything for you. And the question I want you to leave with you: what beliefs, my dear friends, what beliefs are quietly shaping your decisions? What beliefs are quietly governing your decisions? So you need to find out exactly what are those beliefs. And what I suggest is, take a piece of paper, write all your beliefs, all the negative beliefs, or what's holding you back. It will take you some time, but I suggest you just brainstorm over this or mindstorm over it, and come up with a list and find out what is it, what are those fears that you have, and see what new beliefs you can come out with. So the point here is, you need to strengthen your belief system, because that is going to filter out, and that is going to make you a better person altogether. It will help you to be more anchored and grounded to reality. And here's a photo I want to share with you. Slightly during my younger days, I mean, I no longer look like that, but this was the time when I was walking on fire. You can see me walking on fire. And by the way, Don't attempt this at home. This is through some mediation and through everybody giving that right energy and the belief system itself. But what does this tell you? And some of you might have walked on fire, and I walked on fire twice. But what it tells me every time I see this photo is, if I'm able to walk on fire, what else am I capable of doing? Because if this is what I can do, then I think I can achieve a lot more. So consider, here's what I would suggest you do. For the last 5 years, whatever milestones you have got, write them down. Just write them with you in your diary, preferably have it with you at all times. And that is going to strengthen your confidence and your competence as well, because you will see what you have achieved. And we've all achieved something good. So write your milestones down and see what you have really accomplished and achieved. And then use that, because we all have a unique and innate ability which no one else has. So all of you in this particular conference, all of you have something which is unique, which I don't have or anybody else doesn't have. You have something unique, and that makes you different from everybody else. So you have to figure out what that is, and this is how you do it. Just write those few milestones down. Let me move to the people uh, part of it. Now, you have the right team in the right seats. Now, if you are a solopreneur, some of you might not be having teams, but you are collaborating. What you need to do is you need to use your time uh, properly. And one of the speakers even spoke about return on time. So you need to find out how you are spending time, with whom you are spending time, and where you are spending time. And if you do have a team, do you have the right team in the right seats? Not those whom you like, or not your friends, or not those who are loyal to you, but the right team in the right seats with the right resources doing the relevant initiative or project that you have. You have to make sure this is in line. Secondly, are roles clear? So, do you have role clarity? And again, you have to be very careful. What exactly is that particular role? Even if you're a founding member or whatever you have it, make sure you have that role clarity in place and not personality driven. It's not about titles, but it is about clarity driven. What exactly are you there to achieve, and what are you responsible for? The third, and this I've just put it forward, is your leadership team capable of 3x growth? Now, I'll put 3x growth. Some of you might have a higher multiplier of growth, and some of you would have some sort of a different outfit altogether. So it depends on the size and complexity of whatever your business is all about. But my challenge to you, my dear friends, if you have a strategy in place, if you have a strategy in place, and we all have a strategy, even if you're a solopreneur, you would have a strategy in place. If you are saying you want to convert 10 clients, and I'm giving you a complete bare bone example here. Say you want to convert 10 clients in the next 3 weeks, or 50 clients or 30 clients in the next 3 months. Let me make it a bit different. In 90 days, you want 30 clients. I challenge you, go back to the drawing board and take this as a challenge, that if I were to tell you that how can you get 50 clients, what would you do differently? And that is going to force you to think differently. So work on that particular matrix. And again, if you've got a bigger company, then it's a different thing. Look into the multiplier, but go a bit, stretch yourself slightly more. Let's move to the next point. Are you developing successes or creating dependencies? Now, burnout, you have to be very careful about burnout. You need to have a system, and you need to have time off as well. Now, if you are completely engrossed in your particular business, you are going to be stressed. You will have a lot of challenges as well. This is why I like, Cross-like, for example, all this software and AI agents that we are getting, and all this different ecosystem of mechanisms that you can use, which can run on autopilot, so you can do other things. That in itself forms a system as well. So you need to make sure that you are developing successors. Now let's move to accountability, because this is very important again. Accountability without consequence is just hope, and accountability with consequence is culture. So you need to make sure you hold yourself accountable and you hold the team accountable if you have one. But accountability is key. And again, are decision rights clearly defined? Do you have the right channel of decision rights itself? The other thing is, do you have a follow through rhythm? Do you have an oversight mechanism? Do you have a feedback protocol? What sort of feedback are you getting? So that is very important. And once you get the feedback, what are you doing with that particular feedback? How are you course correcting? Are you making those procedures? Are you writing them down? Do you have that recorded so that you can improve as you move forward? Because what gets measured progresses. That's how I see it. We have to keep on progressing to excellence. Moving forward, is accountability cultural or transactional? So is it just incentive based or punishment, or is it just embedded? So if you are planning to build a team, or if you've got a team, make sure it's ingrained, it's inside, it's in your DNA to have that ownership mentality. And there's one more thing I want to press upon everybody to consider: have an accountability partner. This is a tip I would give you. I have an accountability partner, and we meet once a week. She has raised my standards, and we help each other. So work towards having an accountability partner. It's going to change the game for you. Now, let's move into cost leadership. Now, this is not about cost cutting, but it's more to do with profit clarity itself. And there are 5 questions that I want to share with you, and I see many struggle with these 5 questions. What's your true customer acquisition cost? Because I don't want you to be bleeding cash in the future. So, what's your true customer acquisition cost? Not your revenue per customer, but your true customer acquisition cost. The second question: where is cash leaking in operations? Be very, very focused on this particular question. Where is cash specifically leaking in operations? The third question: what's your margin by product line? What is your true margin by product? You could be having just one product, or you could be a consultant, but you need to make sure that you have that margin. You are very clear about the margin, the gross margin and the net margin. Which initiatives are cash positive in 90 days? Cash is king. Everything else is, cash itself is oxygen, my dear friends. So you need that particular cash. You need to do whatever it takes to generate and churn more cash. So what initiatives are cash positive in 90 days? And what's that one decision that you can make which will help you recover 10% margin? This in itself is going to give you some leverage. It will give you some tangible output altogether. So there could be that one decision or that choice that you're making that could give you 10% margin. Work on these particular questions. You need to work on this, hone on this, and find out exactly what you can do to really make and generate more revenue, generate more margins, and generate cash at the end of the day. Let me move to the next slide, and this is the last one, which is the traction itself, which is very important. Activities and progress. Traction is activity is just activity itself, but traction is what really matters. Traction is where the momentum lies itself. So, all of you, 90-day execution map. Do you have a roadmap? I'm sure many of you might be having. But make sure you have a clear 90-day execution roadmap ahead. We are end of January, so Feb, March, April, end of April. Have that roadmap in front of you of what you have achieved. Those who have got it from 1st of January till 31st March, make sure you find out exactly where you are in that particular roadmap of yours. The other thing, are you measuring leading indicators or lagging ones? Now, leading indicators, we've heard from very many of these prominent speakers who were giving you ideas of how posts can go viral. So if you got a viral post this week, then what are you going to expect? You're going to expect some messages, or you're going to expect interaction. You might be expecting some business coming through. That becomes a leading indicator itself. So look into what are those leading indicators. There are quite a few, but I'm just giving you a quick sort of broad brush picture on the leading indicator itself. Is your team moving fast or just moving? Again, you need to make sure that if you have a team, are they really making an impact, and are they moving forward? Or are they just moving? The other thing that I want to share with you now is the intervention model. So how do we remove friction in 90 days? What I do, and this is completely what differentiates me from many others, is that time is the default currency, in my opinion. So what I do is a 3-week virtual appraisal. This is going through everything on culture, leadership, governance, strategy, financial health, and we pick up 15 gaps. And from that particular 15 gaps, what we do is we have a 2-day strategic immersion session, ideally in person, but we can do it virtually as well, where we phase out all the elements like culture, leadership, governance, strategy, financial health, and walk through the 15 gaps to ensure that you get value, and then come back after 4 to 6 months just to hold the system, ensure it sticks. So what happens? You'll see that decisions will be faster than before. That is one of the things. Secondly, CEO leverage. You'll be able to see that the CEO's return on time, executive time, is optimized. And that's what we are looking forward. Revenue growth as well, and looking into the cash flows. So we're looking into the whole, complete end-to-end system itself. And team alignment, one direction, one rhythm, zero silos. Now, I just want to leave with you, so I just want to give you some more tips here for you to progress as you move forward. Eight to 12 decibels. That means that you. So here are a few things that you could do. First and foremost, make sure every single day, if you've got a garden, if you've got a nice place, or if you've got, you'll go into an alpha state, and you'll see even writers, many writers, book writers, they go there as well, uh, to get this creative ideas. So look into how you can go into this alpha state, and it will change the way you look at everything, and you'll see different perspectives, different dimension, and you'll get more clarity as well. So go into an alpha state. Another thing you could do is you could even meditate, and YouTube has very many clips. Spotify has some clips as well, so you could use either of them, but try going into an alpha state. The second thing I want you to do is, what are 3 things that you're grateful for every single day? So why is this important? Because we are living in a stress-driven environment, and we need to ease off our stress. And when you are grateful for something, it's going to help you to uh, reduce that particular stress. So what are 3 things you are genuinely, with meaning, grateful for? So that's what you need to do. The third, which is very basic, it sounds basic, but you need to move from time management to energy management. So look into the breathing exercises. There are very many different breathing exercises. Like there's the box breathing exercise. You breathe in for 6 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 6 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. You could do that for 7 minutes a day, and that will help you to become more calmer, but it will give you more nourishment and energy. Energy is where the impact is. So, and once you get that energy, you'll be able to focus. And energy flows where attention goes. So when you have the right focus, energy flows where attention goes. The other thing, 3 questions that I would like you to ask on a daily basis. The first question is, what is one thing that I learned today? Every single day, my dear friends, try learning one small thing. What is that one thing that you learned today? That's the first question. The second one is, whom did I help today? So it's not only about getting, but what is it that you have done to serve? So whom did I help today? And the third question is, what is that one thing I did to move the needle? So in other words, what is that one thing you did that has got you towards the goal that you have set for yourself? So have those 3 questions. And finally, I just want to share the final one, which is SPOT, which means specific point of destination. Have 2 purposes in life. One is your life purpose for your life, and the other is your career purpose. So have those purposes, but have it with clarity. Invest some time and make sure you're clear about what your end goal is, what your purpose is, as far as your career is concerned and as far as your life is concerned. It will take some time, but invest some time and work towards it. Some of you might have already got this. And this leads me to an offer. If anybody is interested, I've got a questionnaire. You just have to scan the QR code, and I'll be sending a personalized video. This is something I'm doing specifically for this particular conference. I really appreciate Sergey and Alex inviting me to speak, although I'm very different from the rest of all of you. And the second one is, the rest of you will get an appraisal, which is a personalized report. So this is an opportunity for you to get an appraisal. It's absolutely free. There's no charge for it, but if you're interested, then that's the QR code. And finally, do connect with me on LinkedIn. That's my QR code for my LinkedIn. Please do connect if you have any questions, if you have any feedback, if there's anything, then please do not hesitate to let me know. I hope I am on time. Sorry, I've taken a lot more time than I was supposed to, so I really apologize, Sergey.
No, it's okay. You are right on time, and we have actually 3 more minutes to answer a couple of questions. So thank you so much for participating in the conference. And you mentioned you are different, but this is the idea of the conference: diversity and show different experience across the world, across the industry, and across expertise. So, if you don't mind, I see in our LinkedIn Live one question. It's kind of interesting. What kind of companies don't need the impact model, and at what stage does it become unavoidable?
Right. So I suppose if I got the question right, is what companies don't need the impact model? I would say the impact model, even if you have got $500,000 turnover, you can use the impact model. Maybe for solopreneurs, it may not be. But from the impact model itself, solopreneurs, the ones who are really starting off and kicking off, they can at least get some concept. So I would say 500,000, and it can go up to, and for the companies that should mandatorily use the impact model, I would say anything over $5 million plus. It's in my opinion, it's something which would really bring a lot of value, and it would make a huge impact to their growth and business, because that is when CEOs have more bottlenecks as well. They have chokeholds as well. So that is when they would require the impact model. I hope that helps.
Yes, sure, sure. Of course, it's quite logical. Impact model must do great impact.
Yes,
Yes, it is. Okay, cool. We have time for the last question. Of course, we have some more questions, but I will collect them and I will send it over
sure.
LinkedIn. So, why do strategic decisions slow down as companies get smarter? It's about your five friction points slide, actually. Decision per line.
Okay. So, and that's a very good question. Thank you for that particular question. What normally happens is when they are in that founder stage, when it's initiating, when the company is scaling and growing, the CEO's responsibility remains the way it is. And they've anchored that particular mentality and that particular responsibility. You see, it's something which is habitual. So, research indicates that if you do something for 9 months, it becomes habitual. So then they want to hold on to certain things. And then what happens is, um, again, another thing is that, like I mentioned, that in the past there may be certain uh, elements, there may be certain things that might have happened where the decisions were not the right decisions, and because of that, what happens is the decisions start getting a bit delayed, because they'll say, what if this happens again, like what it happened in the past? So, that risk element is always there. It's good to have that risk in place, but you have to take a little bit of risk. If you see, risk mitigation is good, but you need to take a little bit of a risk to make sure that you progress. And, things are not always going to be smooth. We have a roller coaster ride. Everything is not just going to be linear. It's just not going to be non-linear or exponential growth. It may be, but there will be certain sacrifices along the way as well. So I hope that helps.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much for this insight. So I guess that's it. Thank you so much for your time and take care. Have a good night, and I
I really
hope I
appreciate
will
it.
see you on our webinar series later.
Look
Okay,
forward to
bye
it.
bye.
See you then.
Okay, and we